have shown a couple of highs, but also a couple of lows as of recent.
Yeah, and I think that's the interesting thing, because it seems like this is kind of the day where teams are overcoming a lot of these lows. We saw it with Gamers Ward. We saw it just previously with K-Corp, continuing the resurgence that we're seeing since yesterday. Now, we're going to see if that's also kept up here. Of course, the Jinx figured it would be highly contested just because both Crownshot Woolite love this pick.
Highly contested, and now what is the response? Quick pick on the Karma coming through. We saw that paired yesterday with the Ezreal. We'll have to see if that ends up coming into play, considering that Aphelios is currently banned out here, so might have to go a little deeper into the pool. But Lee Sin on to Shio, very much changing up his playstyle here, potentially in the early stages.
Right, and the thing BDS did yesterday that I just consider a cardinal sin in this particular metagame is you pick a weak early game jungler and an enchanter support. That's not it, Austin. This time, Shio's on the Lee Sin. It works for two reasons. One, you take it away from Tinks, who is great on the pick. Two, you secure yourself a strong jungle pick before it ends up getting taken away, because you can pick the Ezreal on 3. You could even maybe wait till later if you have another idea for it. Jhin Karma, although not played as often, is also a very strong 2v2 bot lane, and we know Crownshot plays Jhin.
Crownshot loves to play the setup, loves to be able to get his teammates all in. And now we'll also get the Ezreal that I was already talking about. So going in with yet another Karma, another Ezreal lane, a lot of poke, difficult to deal with. We often see it, picked into this Jinx, but there is a Nautilus, and we did see the Nautilus punish her Dote yesterday and lane on the Enchanter.
That's right. You know how it goes. Enchanter versus Hook Champ. All it takes is one, and it's going to ruin your laning phase. So Dote going to have to be very careful. I'm sure he's haunted by the memories of yesterday while he was playing Lulu, because that didn't look too exciting. But this time around, I think if we just look at how much lane pressure they are going to get if they manage to avoid those dredge lines, it is going to be a big deal. You are going to be able to set up Shio for some of these early game plays, because that's what I want to see from him. I haven't been seeing very much early game. Sometimes we do, but this is what I'm going to yell about until my voice stops. In this metagame, you got to play early junglers, and you got to play. I don't want to see full clears. I'm tired of that. Let me see the 3 camps. Let me see the ganks. Please, God.
Well, Beatdown's praying, so we'll see if Tinks or Shio end up bringing that to the table. We're going through some of the bans for Phase 2. Gwen taken away, Hecarim taken away. Kennen, champion, we were talking a ton about going into Week 4. Like, what happened? This guy's completely fell off. Well, unfortunately, we won't get him on the day either. Yeah, I think that is a good ban, though, just because you are lacking a little bit in the hard engage. I think Kennen would just fit perfectly. The problem is, you know who else fits? You could very well just go for an Ornn pick and kind of pick the last thing. You could pick a mid laner. I know you already know about the Victor in the mid lane, but I think Ornn would actually work for both of these teams, and you'd probably want to be taking that one away here, because if not, then what else is left? Maybe the Scion, but I think just do Ornn. It's so good. Well, Orianna might be the answer to the Victor coming in here for us, so we'll be able to set up a couple plays, a bit of ball delivery as well with the Lee Sin. It does end up working out. It is a good lane. It is a good 2v2 with a lot of zone control, so it will be tough for Victor, who is on the more mobile side, especially when we get to that level 6 mark. And we know it, top lane is going to be the last pick here. What are they? Oh, wow. I was literally thinking they're not going to blind Akshan, right? That's crazy. But Austin, they're blinding Akshan in the top lane. That is insane. Irrelevant is going to be playing one of the newer champs out here in League of Legends, and this is the first time we're seeing it in the LFL, and I think I can count on one hand the amount of times I've seen it in organized play. Yeah, he hasn't been here too often. We saw it played in the LEC. Perks played it. I think we maybe saw it a couple times in NA for Darshan, but other than that, it does feel like this champion has not seen a whole lot of love. And now we're going to get the Volley Bear that ends up coming in here for Misfits. We saw it yesterday. It didn't have the best showing with some early dives, but we'll see if it finds a little more favor this time around. I mean, it is tough. You do have the same time constraints in those early game. You really need to get that CC going early. Flash, very important for this Volley Bear, just to be able to get that Q, the instant stun, so you can go for good gank setup. Because as you get later on into the game, if you don't find those early leads, you do tend to struggle a little bit here. Luckily, of course, the late game insurance is certainly there with Chayek, with Woolite on the Victor and Jinx respectively. So it's just about getting them off of the ground here. That's the big thing to work towards. And you got to imagine we're going to see a lot of action bot lane for that reason, because, well, Crownshot and Dote, they're going to keep them at bay with a lot of poke, and getting that lane pressure does leave them susceptible to that. Yeah, it does here. And You know, they pick up the Ornn, as you say, so they're going to have a lot of hard engage, at least to come through, as long as they can hit the call of the Forge God. So we're looking for Aggressivu to be able to set that one up here. A bit of a backseat role here for him. We see him on the Nars. We see him on some of the more aggressive champions throughout the top side. So we'll see how he fares, you know, in this matchup. Have to imagine as well that Action should be going up to that top side. Yep. So a chance for Irrelevant to also showcase, you know, what he can do with his carry pants on here, because this is a pick that either goes completely horrible or it does. Who will come out with the win? Both teams not finding the win here in the first day. But yeah, we can see it. Looks like Irrelevant will be piloting it up in the top side.
Man, you know, I really thought I had something there. I was like, oh god, these guys aren't gonna, yeah, buddy, these guys aren't gonna expect this. I got the big brain play, but you know what? Fine, we can do the normal stuff. That's cool too. Worth noting, Chayek does play a lot of Victor. Is pretty solid on the champ, so I like it overall. The thing that's interesting too is we're seeing the Ghost come through instead of the teleport. It is interesting just because of how in lane and when you're trying to set up some of these plays, it's really impactful. But also, instead of teleporting to wards, which you can't do until 14 minutes, it does give options in the earlier parts of the game where if Chayek does end up finding an angle to leave lane roam down somewhere else, well, guess what? The fight's already starting. He could pop Ghost, and he's there a lot sooner than one might expect.
Certainly the case. Bot lane will be leashing, so Woolite and Vander, they're going to be zoned off the wave right away. Let's see how good their dodging skills are, as Vander's just going to soak it up here for Woolite so that he can walk up and start to farm away. But, you know, maybe I'll hold that thought. This is Aggressivu. He's going to get bullied out early as we expect here. But the point I was going to go into was Woolite. And we talked about Woolite last night.
We did.
Like, maybe I'm going to have to keep holding these narrative points because
Zico
is actually in a lot of trouble and will get to level 2, but already getting punished out. But back to my point, I don't think that Woolite's been performing the same way he did during the last season in 2021 when Misfits actually went on to win. A huge part of that was his Ezreal, was just a lot of the plays that you could just rely on him to make, and that has not been the case so far. We've seen him fail arcane shifts over the wall, like small mechanical things, losing lane, falling in CS. So I think that there needs to be a spotlight on Woolite to show us that he is still that same eating carry from last year that is capable of carrying this Misfits roster when needed.
Agreed. I think part of the thing that worried me about it is, or the reason I think that this is the case is that, you know, new team, everybody except Woolite is a new player on this roster. So there's a lot that needs to there's getting used to, there's working out comm structures, who's leading, who's doing what, right? So I've always said, like, we'll give it time. But now, I think later on as Misfits are starting to kind of find their rhythm a little bit here. Part of the thing for me, too, was also draft. Not really setting them up the way you might, oh my god.
Okay, Chayek, a little thumbs up. That's more or less just wiping the sweat off your brow after that one. Like, thank God that wasn't lethal.
Yeah, it's definitely like totally planned in his mind. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So close. But yeah, I think with this draft, you do have a lot more chances to really set up Woolite to allow him to succeed in this composition. And I think it's nice too because that's the thing. One of my concerns with Misfits is that early game, you know, things were a little slow. It's not as bad as Vitality B, but enough for me to have some kind of concern. But seeing Tinks on this volley bear, that's a different story.
Irrelevant. Maybe just baiting the play. Aggressivu has to flash. Do they have enough damage?
Yeah, one more.
One more auto needs to come out. Irrelevant. He flashes, but it should be traded. Oh, he gets in. The first blood comes through, but it is a 1-for-1 from Aggressivu.
That was almost the worst thing I ever seen in my entire life. If he didn't get that kill, Austin. Oh my God, you know what? You get 100 extra gold. You still have TP so you can come back. I think you're kind of saying like, all right, it was worth, thanks. And, and you're good. That was really scary, but it ends up coming out on top. And this is what we want to see. Tinks just making these plays as soon as he can. Crucially, holds on to the flash too, so he has another play in the pocket.
Yeah, you see it. Aggressivu walking up like, hey, I can solo kill you. Oh, wait, your jungler is here, and realizes that he is not have his jungler. And this is where it gets a little close. Tinks is like tanking. He's like, well, I can't take anymore. And that flash comes out, and it gets just a little too close.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out. So we take those. You do get the flash. You go flash for flash, and Irrelevant overall should be getting the better end of these trades. But no flash means it's very punishable by Shio, who is on the top side of the map, Austin. But I'm seeing him walk away. I'm seeing, what is that? 32 CS. No assists, no plays, nothing. See, I don't like that. I don't like that, Austin.
That's all right. It's still early. We're just 5 minutes in.
You're right, 5 minutes.
Time.
Okay, you're right.
We'll cut Shio some credit. I mean, we have seen him do I think it was just some insane stealing at the beginning of the
That's
first
true.
couple of weeks where he was flashing over the wall to secure some of the souls. As I'm saying this, I'm also watching the health bar of Shayak, and it was dropping down pretty low. And now Tinks is here, as well as Shio. Both are waiting to see which jungler decides to come into the mid lane first, if either of them decide to do it.
That's the question. You gotta imagine at the very least, they know Tinks they could be there. Oh,
Whoa,
level 6?
That's a lot of damage.
No mana.
Yeah, no level 6 here for Zico, and Tinks is going to try to run him down. Shio's here, but what a patient
wow.
play! Will be able to find the snipe on Shayak. He is not ready for it whatsoever.
Tell you what, he's not happy about it either. There it is, Shio. That's what I like to see. Early game plays, nice pick onto the mid, and Erdote is here to be like, listen, buddy, you're not shoving this wave. Get out of here.
He'll try to delay the inevitable, but the wave still at least gets shoved in with the help of Vander and Tinks, so they'll try their best to lose out, or make the mid laner here of BDSA lose out on some farm. Looks like Shio's also able to come now down to the bot side, get himself a crab, as both players thinking about what they can do onto the bot lane. Crown shot is on the Ezreal, so not so much on this hyper carry. I think one of the few times we've seen him without the Jinx, that has definitely been one of his pocket pick champions, but now an opportunity to showcase what he can do heading into the mid game on an Ezreal once he gets there.
Certainly be an interesting one. We have Tinks who's back on this top side of the map saying like, hey, is this Ornn bothering you? No? All right, he's going to walk back here. But this is what I mean. This is the activity I wanted to see when you pick a champ like Volibear. Oh, hold on.
The hook, it just takes one, but will it be enough? Still a lot of healing there and a lot of damage in return. Ignites down Vander, realizes he's made a big mistake.
Is that two?
And it could be, but top lane. Oh, the
nice!
knockoff cuts off Irrelevant on the swing, and Aggressivu finds a solo as the bot lane also gets the double.
Early activity, Austin. That's what I want to see. Get the pedometers out, because BDSA are all over the map. They keep on winning. And what a beautiful play coming through. Vander thinks he has them in the bottom lane. I think that's the most depressing part about that one. And there it is. Crown shot. Double kill on the Ezreal. Maybe not a hyper carry, but the sooner he gets the 2 items, the happier BDSA will be.
And this bot lane of BDSA, one of the standout bot lanes, and Zico will be able to close the distance. Oh, Tinks. Ah, he's running him down because he's mad now. He's like, damn it. Damn it. As he tries to run back. And yeah, thank you, observers, as we take a nice little look on the ward that ended up saving Zico.
And it cost Tinks his flash. The psychic damage is actually incalculable. Zico, yeah, he's feeling good. He's like, oh yeah, buddy, all calculated. You never had a chance. And he holds on to his flash. He still has the shockwave, if necessary, for any potential plays. As you see on the minimap, Vander is actually getting pressured by Erdote, has to flash away, which means that BDSA, they have control for the most part over vision on this bottom side of the map. We haven't seen a play come for this dragon yet, but it's something that BDSA could make the play for if they want to, of course, once Shio's done the Herald.
Yeah, after your Ornn has solo killed the counter pick, you're like, you know what, I actually have top lane priority now, so I'm going to just be able to move up here and grab the Rift Herald. But, man, that play from Misfits really hurts them. I mean, they're already behind. Tinks only really has a window in unless someone overextends or with the flash, with the Volibear, right? You don't have a whole lot of setup here through your lanes unless you're playing Vander, who has a bit of a hook setup here with the Dredge line and then the depth charge once she's 6. But definitely feeling the pressure. Shio was coming in just to see if he could maybe push it the mid lane, but it looks like it's going to be matched. Tinks is also nearby, and will just be both junglers just kind of throw some thumbs up, walking away, and now the Dragon started up for Misfits.
Yeah, you got to imagine bot lane is missing for Misfits. BDS, say, hey, you know what, just let that one go. Hold on to that Rift Herald shield, as they're going to just go ahead and walk away with that one. They still have a play to be made, not for the Dragon, at least that's what I'm telling myself, and as Shio actually is on his way down. I mean, Dragon's Rage is up. There's plays to be made.
Shio is going to come and guide his bot lane back here, likely just to get the shove in. Might be looking for a reset, or could be looking for the Rift play. Bot lane would certainly be an ideal target, since you already have a 2-0 crown shot. but I think it was just to try to get this wave shoved in. Shio now going to take his recall, along with his bot lane duo, who just come through and just get a little bit more damage there, a little bit more money in the pocket of Erdote, just trying to get the autos off for the passive, and now we'll have the wards.
You can see a crown shot, first item, first one to complete one actually, has that Essence Reaver already here at 10 minutes. That extra bit of gold, the lane pressure that's given him this 20 CS lead. Like, this is the player we keep highlighting here for BDSA. Was in the LEC for some time, coming down to the LFL to earn his way back, and the dude has been doing just so much of that.
He's been electric here, and the item picked up will be the Essence Reaver, completed for crown shot. And, I mean, they have been one of the best bot lane duos here. Yesterday was the first time that we finally could see them bleed, right? Where they ended up, you know, going against Mirage, and I think that was just really well played from Raxo and Cody's son, who have looked good specifically in that matchup. But bot lane, Shio is here. Rift Herald might end up coming down. Sonic Wave will connect. That will be the shot barrage. Oh, Woolite is low! The Mystic Shot comes in, and Woolite is forced back. A little bit of damage in return. Mega Death Rocket not there to find the angle onto Erdote, but now we're going to have Tinks and Shayak. The Ghost is there, so a counterplay from Misfits, and it could be good for more than one. Kick from Shio will send Shayak flying, but here comes Tinks, and they will delete Crown Shot on the Ezreal. A nice counterplay here from Misfits in the bot lane.
Really nice turn coming through here, and it's going to get a nice bit of gold onto one of the big damage dealers later on. We talked about it. Woolite, he is a little behind, maybe not out of the game, but in a point where Shayak is the one you're looking for, at least for a little while now. And picking up the shutdown on the crown shot is the biggest deal here. You can see it, all the poke. Woolite, he's just having the worst time right now. He hasn't gotten to auto attack once, and look at how low his HP gets. But it's on Vander, who's stalling, keeping them alive, keeping his AD carry alive long enough for the follow-up to come through. And there it is, Shayak. No teleport coming in clutch.
Gio, just with that kick, tries to send the mid laner flying, but he is still able to follow up here with the Ghost active, and that's a big shutdown also to Shayak. 500 gold with that kill onto Crown Shot, and now he's got a couple kills under his belts. And, you know, we'll see what Shayak can do this time around here, Beatdown, because yesterday he was 4-0 on that Yasuo. We were thinking, wow, you know, this is one of the moments where we get to see Shayak really take over, but, you know, due to the TF, due to the Camille and the 1-3-1 that was set up there from Vitality, it felt like he wasn't really enabled unless Tinks could set up a big Moonfall with the Diana. But now he's on the Victor. He's got a bit of a front line. He's already, you know, far ahead now at this point in time over his counterpart Zico in the mid lane, so we'll see exactly if this one's going to pan out a little differently in day 2.
I agree with you, totally. And now this is a good opportunity for him to be able to kind of show us. Like, I think he played well yesterday, all things considered, and I know that's mostly what you're saying too. It's just that now we can really see him go big, because he is on a pick where Victor is one of the premier carry mid laner picks at the moment here. The damage is just staggering, and now at 2-1, means he's at this point where you have that E upgrade. He's probably working towards the Q as well, stacking up those Hex Core stacks, and that does mean that, like, it's going to be easy. 1 E to a couple abilities. Look at that wave. It's disappeared.
It's gone.
It's gone.
And while this tower in the bot lane might also be gone, unless Tinks tries to make a play, the flash is back up. Excuse me, back up. Shio over the wall.
He's like, wait a second.
Like, oh, there's a Tinks there. There's a bear in the bush. But it's okay. They get the tower. First tower golds over to Crown Shot, and that's all 5 plates here as well.
It's a lot of gold into the AD carry of BDSA. The gold lead is in favor of them. About a 1,000 in their favor, and we're getting close to a dragon. Oh, ho, ho.
Oh, the kick. Okay. Beautiful. Zico with the shockwave. It will be flash. Shayak now with the Chaos Storm trying to get some damage back, but that Sonic Wave turns into a resonating strike, and that will be another pickup for Shio.
Oh, there it is. Nicely done from the jungler here. Shio showing us some of the activity, some of that early gameplay we were hoping for here. The play didn't work out, bot, but it came through in the mid lane. And you get Shayak's flash on top of that, which is a big deal. 5 minutes where this immobile carry is a little more vulnerable, where another play like that is going to be able to work. Plus, we're getting to this point now where Aggressivu and Irrelevant can participate in a lot of these fights, and that Call of the Forge God is going to be a big team fight tool that we haven't even seen come through yet for BDSA. Yeah, we haven't even actually looked at top lane in a while, and Irrelevant has been able to build up a CS lead, but Aggressivu is doing everything needed to be relevant here, as well as the scaling that'll end up coming in once he starts picking up more and more levels, upgrading his teammates' items, and that will also be now a dragon picked up to even out the tally. Mountain Dragon, additional resistances now across the board for BDSA. Now we know it is going to be an Infernal Soul. So big win con, no matter who is playing. Yeah, I mean, this turret is pretty low. They might have the chance.
Well,
oh, no way.
Aggressivu has a lot of HP here.
Oh, nice
That's
knockup.
The dive will be tanked up quite nicely, but Aggressivu finds the knock-up here. Is there an outplay? Tinks has the flash! Oh, not enough. And that will be a successful dive, and maybe now the tower here for Irrelevant too.
And it costs a lot, and Aggressivu definitely made it competitive, but you're right, it does succeed, and Misfits do barely get to walk away from that one. And that is a nice bit of gold there for Irrelevant, who managed to kind of redeem himself after getting solo killed early on and has been leading quite a bit in farm. He is going to be a big problem in damage later on too for the side of BDSA. And because of the team fight they have, especially when you look at Vander on this Nautilus, it's definitely not open and shut for BDSA, even with the lead that they do have for themselves. However, Crown Shot, he thinks it's open and shut.
Working on that second item, and now maybe even a second rip for BDSA. They've taken quite a few plates in the early stages of this game. Erdote does have to flash, and Irrelevant's going to try to come in, but will be stunned up. Erdote still alive for now. TP in the back, it will be Aggressivu, but they're able to find the kill onto the Karma. So Erdote out of the fight, but it's traded back 1-for-1. Irrelevant, nowhere to run to, and BDSA just going to continue to take down the Rift.
Yeah, that trade is a little bit lopsided, very much in favor of BDSA. Tinks, you have no flash.
Okay.
We'll be able to force Crown Shot away.
Yeah, a lot of respect there from Crown Shot. Just wasn't sure. You get a charging bear that comes on in, and you just want to make sure that you are not going to be locked down because it'll likely be the death of you. So we'll just keep his life, and now looks to pick up mid.
Well, he's a little dangerous. Wants to make sure he can try and hold on, but it's Shio here who to make this play possible. Hopefully the Q kind of dissuades taking of the turret.
Hasn't so far, but the wave has been dealt with, but not all of it. One more melee at the front means that they have more than enough damage to open up the mid lane here. Another tower will be taken, but first one at least here for the side of Misfits.
You know what? Slowly but surely, Misfits are managing to narrow this gold lead a little bit, and this is better play in the early game from what we've seen compared to yesterday, weeks before, where we criticized them for being a little slow, a little inactive. And I mean, look at Tinks. 5 kills so far for the team. He's been part of 4 of them. And he's been very active in this early game, setting his team up. And now with that Stormbreaker back online, you got to imagine he is going to be ready to set up more dives here too. And if you look on the other side here for BDSA, a lot of how you disengage, a lot of how you keep your team going in these team fights is Aggressivu, that Call of the Forge God. He is the one you're looking on to, one, start off fights that are favorable for you, and allow you to walk away and continue fighting the ones that aren't.
Top lane, Irrelevant, in some trouble. Zico has made the roam. And, well, there's the pink ward. They will spot him out. Shockwave will lock him down. Should be able to find this. Zico, I'm sure, would love to be able to pick it up, and he will, but mid lane. That's a kill onto Crown Shot, and will be a second here. The bot lane of BDSA gets punished and oversteps.
And there it is. As soon as you see the mid lane move up there and Zico to be able to pressure the top side, the response play is immediate. And that means not only is it 1-for-1, you get all this bonus gold here. Shio, we know you're just posturing, buddy. You see the emote come through as that's an extra bit of gold into Woolite's pocket. We talk about someone else being able to succeed. Now I think Woolite is also in a pretty good position to really pop off this game.
And we'll see it again. Looks like the depth charge came through. Crown Shot used that flash in the last fight and had nowhere to go. And
I love it. They just ignore Shio too. They're like, yeah, we're not here for you, buddy. We want that guy. 80 carry. And in the side too, Chayek, of course, again, popping the ghost. All that damage is there. He's building towards the Void Staff, so not even Aggressivu will be safe. Even worse, most of what he's been building, besides that Frostfire Gauntlet, is his armor.
Woolite's going to come through, pick up the red buff. Will be able to sustain himself just a little bit more. Now has the slow on the autos, and it might be necessary because BDSA looked like they were posturing for a play with the Rift Herald in the mid lane, but decide not to drop it just yet. Shio is getting a little low on the timing. We'll maybe have another minute, a little bit more than a minute potentially, as he's been throwing out a lot of emotes, and they're going to spot him out to make sure that they know where this Lee Sin is, especially when Woolite's walking up.
That's right. Herald probably holding on to it to use so that you can walk down towards the dragon here, but it's going to be tough. Tink's about to get that Stormbreaker back online. That's going to be a big ult for contesting this dragon. Shio, same thing, has that Dragon's Rage. Crown Shot about to get his ult. Everybody is going to have everything here. 80 carries, have the red buffs, but it's going to be BDSA who actually get to the dragon first, and it's looking like Misfits I think they're just cool with that, or they don't realize.
They are Infernal Dragons, so...
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, they'll add up. A lot of additional damage here. Vander trying to walk his team in. Ultimate comes through there, but now it's the turn.
Oh, they want it.
God, knock up onto 3 members. They'll chain it onto Vander. One more auto, and it will be Aggressivu that's able to take the kill. Rift Herald also drops in the process, as it might be Shelly trying to crack open mid. But they should be able to take it down.
Nice
but the kick onto Tinks, thrown right into the middle of the team fight. Shockwave finishes off the kill. Damage back from Moonlight, looking for resets, trying to get excited, but Adote hasn't gone down just yet. Finally, will be taken out as Shayak gets in there with the laser, and they're able to get one back on the support of BDSA.
Still very positive for BDSA. What do I always say about front row seats, Austin? They're expensive. You stand there just watching them take the dragon, and Misfits end up getting punished. You take down Vander, you take down Tinks. Yeah, it costs you or Dote, but ultimately it ends up being very positive. You are getting that much closer to that crucial Infernal Soul, and we're seeing Aggressivu really show up so far on the Ornn pick. And the thing is, too, BDSA are only down a couple hundred gold, but there's a lot of easy turrets, easy gold for them to pick up mid and top. They have tier 2 still that haven't even been touched, been breathed on by the side of BDSA. So this gold is essentially even here.
Moonlight still responsible for just clearing out mid. Zico is going to be matching him for the time being. No neutral objectives to take, but the Baron now, of course, has been live for the last minute 15. And more priority going to go around there just for getting some vision down, as we're already seeing a bit of a fight over it. Tinks will take away the Scuttle Crab. And now BDSA grouping up as 3 here again. That mid lane tower for Misfits is just barely hanging on, but Shayak is going to take this opportunity of saying, listen, you want to group? That's fine. I'm going to create some side lane pressure. Someone's going to be forced to match it. That's going to give me time to pull off my recall and come back out on the map a little stronger.
And that's crucial, because he doesn't have the teleports. He's going to be able to get back on the map while people are clearing those waves, while BDSA are kind of behind when it comes to map pressure. So in doing so, he does have the angle. Shayak does crucially finish the Void Staff as well, so Aggressivu is going to take a lot of damage from this Victor.
Yeah, I think they were thinking about setting up the play, but you talk about the Victor. Shayak comes back off spawn. He's right here to match the play if they were looking for it. Also, didn't have Zico, but did have the TP. Could have came through, but now Irrelevant gets to really utilize what we talk about with this pick, where you can kind of use the walls to be able to come through and see if you can sneak your way into the mid lane. And that could be the case. The mid lane tower, of course, already down, so we'll just be priority picked up for Misfits here. Might start to move in, clear out some of this vision. That's exactly what they're going to start to do.
Having that first mid clear means it's going to be easy for Misfits to be able to do just that. I mean, you got a lot of DPS as well, so you could technically threaten a bait if you want to. But for the moment, they're not interested in that. They're going to clear vision, set up their own, and just go ahead for the reset. We're 2 minutes away from any dragon, so there isn't much to play for just yet. You're going to have Irrelevant on this bottom side of the map here. Because Aggressivu shoved that wave out, he does have that first move to this mid lane, and you can see it. BDSA, they're posturing. They want this mid tower, and they might be able to punish somebody who ends up overstepping, or maybe they're moving up top. If Shayak shows, he's going to be in trouble, but I think he realizes they're off the map, so he's like, you know what, I'm just going to leave that wave.
Yeah, Crownshot actually got a lot of information with that two-shot barrage, figuring out where Vander was, figuring out where Moonlight was, giving them the confidence, take down mid, move to the top lane. This tower is already going to be fairly loosened up and could be an opportunity to move in, but Irrelevant has found an opportunity of his own and is actually starting to run away with a bit of a CS lead over Aggressivu right now, as he's now level 14 and has 228 CS.
Yeah, and we actually got to look at the gold just a minute ago, and it shows that actually the major deficit here for the side of BDSA is Aggressivu. He's down 2,300 gold last we got to see. And, I mean, he's the majority of the lead. So even though Irrelevant is a good amount stronger, has finished, oh my god, that's his third item. Okay, he's really juiced. I take back what I was going to say. He's really strong at the moment here. Aggressivu, if he wants to have that impact, those Ornn ultimates, they have to be big. And because of all the pressure BDSA are putting on this bottom side of the map, they do have that luxury of forcing Misfits to have to walk into them, because we're about 40 seconds away from this Drake.
We are. Third one could be the Infernal Soul. And I think that is probably going to draw some attention from the side of Misfits. 30 seconds away now. Moonlight just trying to grab a little bit more farm and XP before he moves in. That will be the level up here. So now we'll have 2 abilities completely maxed out. Same level as Shayak, actually. He's going to be able to get a lot of solo XP over top of Crown Shot. But with the 2 items, we'll see the impact that Woolite will bring to the table as now everyone starts to posture, starts to move in. 10 seconds away from our 4th Drake.
That is a nice bit of information, nice bit of chunk damage onto Woolite. It's going to be Shio. He's done this before. No matter how much I criticize his early game, in the mid and late game on this Lee Sin, this dude is ridiculous. So keep an eye out on this Lee Sin to be able to isolate someone like Chayak, like Woolite.
Well, it's the hook, but it is just Aggressive. Tinks goes into the stopwatch.
Nice shockwave.
Up a little bit of that damage, but meanwhile, the Dragon's been
they're
secured.
looking.
The knockup is there. Vander has to flash back, but in the backline, Irrelevant has been able to sneak through. Trying to kite this one out. His teammates are so far away, but he's able to find Shio. Irrelevant has found another with the help of Woolite, and he is alive. What a play from Irrelevant!
Oh, and a bit of a misplay coming through there. No one covering the ultimate from Irrelevant, covering the damage for Shio. Ends up meaning he goes down. And you know what else? Misfits are going to pick up the Baron. You see the teleport into the top lane. It's going to be Crown Shot and Aggressive, ADC, and top laner trying to do what they can. No Call of the Forge God. Just 2 men and a True Shot Barrage.
Well, the information's here. Crown Shot is close. Has the True Shot Barrage. You talked about it. Could Crown Shot find a miracle steal? Here we go. W is down. True Shot Barrage comes out, but a little too early. Now Aggressive is going to be in some trouble. Dote's here, and the TP is coming out, but you might lose them before they come through, and that has been the play. Crown Shot jumping forward with the Arcane Shift, looking for Mystic Shot, but the zoning from Shayak will keep them at bay.
Yeah, you're looking to hopefully stop some recalls and do something about this, but ultimately it's not there. You lose your top in the process too, so that's just more gold. And just like that, Misfits break the game open here. You can see it. It starts with this play. Look at Irrelevant. He's not spotted because of the camouflage he's got going on here. Spacing really well and waiting for the right chance to make the move. And here it is. You see them turn to focus on his support, and just like that, before they realize what happened, Dote is gone, and he makes the great escape.
Oh, and Shio just dives right into that ultimate, and he's got Shayak on his tail too, so it's not like he had options, but Irrelevant makes it out. Able to kite all the way back. I just don't know how he survives in that situation, but now he is so strong. The 3 items we already mentioned, doing all the farming, has himself a stopwatch. He's ready to go again, and he's already just kind of backing Shayak as they set up the waves on the top side.
You can see it. He has the most gold in the game at the moment, and by a sizable margin, no less. And you can see him really getting value on this Akshan pick. It's level 16 as well. Most XP to work with, as now we're just fighting to push out what waves we can if you're BDSA. Top, you know that's done. You're going to just try and wave clear when the gets to the inhibitor turret. Mid, you're trying to clear what you can with Crown Shot and Jiko doing all the damage to these waves. But at the moment now, Shio has to be very careful. Misfits are looking for whatever they can find.
Vander is here. Woolite's also going to back him up. 4 strong here for Misfits in the top side of the map. Tinks on the side, little isolated. Will actually lose about 40% of that HP bar as the sieging continues. Caddy Waves dealing a bit of damage, and that tier 3 will be taken low, but we'll have to wait for the next wave. And now it looks like Misfits going to start to set up the rest of the waves here too, realizing that they can't just fundamentally push in one wave. There is still a lot of team fighting power here from BDSA.
That's the big thing too, and if you look, mid is pushing, especially with the relevance showing on that wave, so it is going to be tough. BDSA are still behind enough that pressure in 2 lanes means one of them is going to have to bend. One of these turrets is going to have to break. Chico's doing his best mid lane to be able to clear things out. At the moment, BDSA, they're just barely holding on.
Zico clears out mid. The rest of BDSA have been able to deal with yet another wave in the top side. 15 seconds left on the Baron. I think Misfits realize we're not going to be able to crack the base with this Baron, but they still come away with quite a bit of gold. 5,000 up is going to be Misfits as all those items come pouring in, and they're getting themselves right back out on the map and going to start to set up this next dragon here in a minute.
What a time for Misfits to be able to find a lead here, Austin, as, well, this would have been BDSA's Infernal Soul. That is a big deal if they manage to secure that one, but I have a feeling, bit of a suspicion, we'll call it, that BDSA are going to let that one go. I think they realize, you know what, yeah, this is not allowed. I'm just going to walk away as Dote has to run away here. And I mean, a big thing is you're okay giving up a dragon, just because I think you need some time if you're BDSA. You're not in a position to be taking a fight right now. I mean, if you look at Crown Shot, he is very strong at the moment. He has those 3 items. He's working towards his 4th, which is probably going to be Cyrilda's, but still. I think you're looking for a better opportunity than having to walk into BDSA, or into Misfits.
BDSA, they are going to move up here. True Shot Barrage comes through. Doesn't really hit the mark, but does at least gather a bit of vision. Mid lane priority now going to be secured for BDSA. How do they move in? How do they contest this dragon? Misfits, extremely strong. Multiple targets you're going to have to deal with that are threats. But Woolite and Shayak actually going to be separated. You're going to have to go the long way around. This is going to buy a little bit of space here for BDSA as the dragon gets started up.
Like this, you force the aggro, force Misfits to make a decision, and here we go. We're going to be down to the 50-50. We talk about Shio and his ability to steal. They're going to fight.
Not worried about the dragon right now. Into the back line. A lot of damage comes through.
Nice
Zico goes golden for a moment. Tinks as well, but Zico flashes the way to safety. Aggressive might have went too far forward. Will cost him his life. Irrelevant now. Bit of resets coming through. And it's falling to pieces as Woolite's able to just feast on the entire team. Shayak moves in for the double. Shio probably drops as well, but more importantly, this should be the dragon. Pending Shio does not get into that pit. Does actually find a nice kick into that Sonic Wave, but Tinks will be able to lock him down and make sure there's no shot at getting in the pit.
Man, it was almost there, but Misfits are turning it up, Austin. The solo laners especially, 2 new players to this level of play, really starting to come into their own on this roster. Chayak and especially Irrelevant, making these big plays here in this game for the team, and now it's going to allow Misfits to go as big as they have been, get that second Infernal Drake for themselves, and break open yet another turret.
Another tower, another dragon, and Misfits looking a lot better with the goalie that they currently have. That should be right around 8,000 here picked up for them. Make that just about 9. But we'll take another look here at the start of the fight, and Irrelevant getting yet another flank.
Yeah, they just don't know where he is most of the time. He has, that's his 4th item there with the GA, and you can see it. So much so that even with all the CC Aggressivu was putting in, no one was able to follow up just yet. Tinks was being that frontliner there, and what does it mean? Look at Chayak, look at Irrelevant. They were full health when 3 members of BDSA went down. At that point, it was just easy for them to finish them off.
And then gets a little dicey here in the end. Shio did have his smite. I think he might have used it to just secure the kill onto Vander, and he did. But if he somehow got into that pit and took it, well, we would have... I feel like we could have thrown a vision stat out there for the best stealer in the league.
Yeah.
But now it's looking like another death for Shio. As we talk about how good he's been with stealing objectives, not too good here for staying alive. And now that means 40 seconds without your jungler. Misfits, they're going to be able to move in for the Baron.
No smite, no problem. Misfits are going to go ahead and grab one of the strongest buffs this game has, and this is where they could look to close things out. Austin, they're at a really strong point where they have all these lanes pushing in, and you can see the prep coming through here. Top is already pushed. You see Irrelevant moving mid to already get things started here so that the team can move up once this Baron is done, and they can look. Bot inhib is exposed. Other 2 are just waiting to be revealed, as it's looking like Misfits are pretty much just all-inning mid.
Mid lane tower going to fall. Will be the inhibitor here too. Should be able to shift down, rotate to that bot lane inhibitor, find a second. BDSA looking for an engage. Watch for Aggressivu. Needs to find a big knockup at BDSA. Are looking to set up their tower defense, but I think they're going to let this one go. Meanwhile, you don't even have your support with you. Dote is going to be backing. We'll be able to get some vision down, maybe looking for a counterplay on the way out, seeing if they might be able to catch someone, but losing 2 inhibitors is going to make things that much more difficult. Shio tries to move in, and, well, he gives this little emote for the play.
Yeah. Tried his best. Chico's going to TP top. See how much they can try and shove this wave out. We're at a point where objective bounties are up and available, too, so if you can manage to get something along those lines, that'd be great. You see those assist pings coming through, though. They know what BDSA are trying to play for. So Chico hopefully knows he's going to have to back off very, very soon. Beyond that, you just want to try and limit the options of lanes where Misfits can use that Baron buff. Because we're talking, what, 1:30 left on this Baron buff. Top is pushed beyond the halfway point. Only lane you have to really worry about is mid and bot. So BDSA are kind of holding on for the moment here. We've seen them in situations like this before, where they let go of big buffs. They understand when and how they can come back from in a game.
Well, you see a bit of the poke, a bit of the damage. It is there.
Oh, no, they don't
But
know.
Irrelevant, he's found so many flanks, and now no Redote, no peeling, no shielding. Misfits with the Barons still currently active. They might be looking for the game.
It's tough. One member down on the side of BDSA. They're not taking any chances, Austin. They want all three inhibs down before they really pull the trigger. No ultimate for Crown Shot. BDSA, they're going to need a miracle if they need to close this one out. Misfits, they have it all, Austin. All ultimates, almost all summoners. And now, it's just the final play.
And you have to use the ultimate potentially, and here they come. Tinks at the front of it all. Knockup finds two onto the back line. Tinks has to ult the safety. Vander's safe and can look to go back in with Irrelevant with the GA. No more towers. Open
Sheila
Nexus.
kick.
Redote is back up. Full on 5v5, but the Baron is still active, and Shayak has jumped
Oh,
out
nice
the
kick.
back line. So many low HP bars,
it doesn't
and
matter.
they will be able to find the win. Misfits get the dub. Bounce back after the loss yesterday, and they looked a lot cleaner in this matchup.